Shalom, shalom. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakadash, Barakatam. Divine to my apostle, Great Millstone, and salutations to the Akim, 144,000. Alright, who's pushing this truth with all love, diligence, respect, fear, and trembling. Shalom to the scattered Israelites on the four corners of the earth, who's listening to the word and believing. God tells them coming back with another dream that's through the knowledge, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai being the only begotten Son. Yahweh meaning He is or He to be, and Yahweh Shai meaning He saves or He delivers. Those are the names you want to call upon in these last days for protection. Okay, from the destruction, from the snare, from the pestilence. Okay, ultimately it's talking, that's the nuclear missiles. All right, because World War III is inevitable. Okay, so that's going to bring on the second death. World War III is going to bring on what is known as the second death in the scriptures. Okay, which is the destruction of America, aka Babylon. All right, Revelation 18, Babylon has fallen, Babylon has fallen. Well, that's what we're coming up close upon. And I was just, kind of meditating. I'm almost to the plantation, so this ain't gonna be too long. But 1 Thessalonians 5 kind of popped in my head. I was kind of, I ain't being busy earlier today. I didn't have time to sit down and get a topic. Well, I have a topic, but it was gonna take a little bit longer, to do. And I was, ripping and running. So, but I, praise to the Lord to, if you can give me a topic. And what had landed was 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. Which is one of my favorite precepts. Okay, one of my favorite books. And it goes into the seasons that we're in. Okay, the men of the Lord, the prophets, because we've been watching, we know what time we're living in. In fact, I believe it's Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, where it speaks about there's times and seasons under heaven, roughly paraphrasing that. Salakia, I'm on the highway, so it's kind of jumpy. But a time to kill, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, and so on and so forth. Well, what time or what season are we living in right now? Now, Yahweh Shai said to the wicked Pharisees and the scribes that you can discern the weather. You can tell when it's lowering, or the what you call those weather prognosticators, I believe, for those forecast people. So you can tell if it's gonna rain, if it's noon, evening, and snow, whatever it is. You can tell the times of the seasons of those particular seasons, but you can't tell the time or the season of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the season of the Lord. And the season of the Lord is approaching, and it's going to come with great danger. All right, evils. I believe Ezekiel 3 speaks about on how the end is come, and it waited for thee, or it's coming to meet you. Those evils is the destruction that's about to take place. And you see, people got to understand that before World War III, there's going to be a lot of death and famine and hopelessness out here. So you got to watch and take heed. But only the hopeful elect is going to take heed. That's why the scripture said this in 1 Thessalonians 5:1. It says, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. Yeah, because the true watch, that's why we're called watchmen. Because we can, now the scriptures speak about measuring the time diligently. So we can see the how the Lord is mustering up the host of the battle when it comes to the nations battling. We can see on how it's going to be a economic collapse that's going to bring in various of what is known as polycrises, which in the world is called polycrises, but you know, those are prophecies. They spoke about famines, okay? They spoke about, you know, lack of food, lack of water. That's a famine, you know? They spoke about crazy weather storms, you know? A state of emergencies, you know? Which, when you go into it today, they call them polycrises. Poly meaning many, and crises. It's something that what keeps the world devastated, you know, a crisis. Something, distress. 9/11 was a crisis. The Boston bombing was a crisis. Hurricane Katrina was a crisis. Okay. What else? I'm trying to think of other things that's been going on. You know, well, the value of the dollar, that's a crisis. You know, the weather storms, the hurricanes, the tempests. Those are known as crises in today's terms, because people die, people be without homes, they don't have any food, you know, so they're in a state of a crisis. But those crises are the prophecies, you know, Jeremiah 28:8, you know, of war, evil, pestilence. Because guess what? When a war happens, guess what? There's no in the midst of brewing of a war, to funding this war, inflation, it brings uproars and chaos. 2 Ezra the 9th chapter. So the whole point is, you got to know what season you're living in, man. You got to know what times we're in. We're in the times of the Lord. Okay. So let's keep reading. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Right? We understand that through all this bread and circuses, right? All this fun that these people is having, but here it is. You have all these different prophetic, scriptural things happening in the world. But nobody is really truly paying attention to it. You know, far as Jake. That's why Jake is gonna get caught up in that JT. Alright? They gonna get hit hard when the JT comes. Why? Because they're not focused, they're not paying attention. They walk past the prophets. So it says, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Yeah, unexpected. It say verse 3. Verse 3, it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Salakia. It's hold on, I'm looking out for this turn. I don't want to miss this turn, so give me a second, let me turn. But yeah, when they say peace and safety, right? Now, with these uproars that's happening, the government is telling you that everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be all good. You know, like with the 2020, you know, the 19 era. They was telling people get this, to get juiced up, do this, do that. Everything's going to be fine, right? So it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. See, they're going to pacify these people to the point where with bread and circuses, you know, and bullshit speeches, peace and safety. But guess what? All of a sudden, another pestilence happens, and this time a lot of people is gonna die from it. You know, sudden destruction, sudden terror is gonna happen when they say peace and safety. You know, they gonna get caught up unaware, because guess what? Jake is too big now. The football season just started. You see, football just started. So we finna be in a high peak of nothing but goddamn bread and circuses, man. Right in the midst of them saying that there's gonna be a part 2 to the 19. Right in the midst of that. Right in the midst of the 19, they saying that there's gonna be a another 19 happening. You know, another 2020. But it's gonna be worse. I don't know, worse is the word. It's gonna be worse than before. You know? So it say, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape. Yeah, it's giving an analogy of a woman when the child is coming through contractions. Once them contractions start, they just gonna keep going until it's time for the baby to come. Okay, so when that baby finally pops, that's likened into the prophecies coming, and then finally the big bang. When the baby comes, that's the big bang. The big bang could be the charagma, all right, which is the RFID chip, the mark of the beast. All right, when that baby's born, you know, it's a lot of things that's leading up to it, you know, which is the contractions, you know, racial tensions and earthquakes and tempests and, you know, uproaring of the people, and, you know, it's all type of wars going on, you know. So, like little proxy wars and things that's going on over there. So, let me keep reading. Oh yeah, okay, that's what I was saying, Salakia, because I almost lost my train of thought. So pardon me, Salakia. I'm gonna read it again real quick. For when they shall say peace and safety, and then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape. So just as that baby is gonna be born, there's gonna be a lot of these prophecies happening, which is known as, considered, you could say, contractions, until that baby is born, the big bang. Okay, and the big bang would definitely be that JT, Jacob's trouble, because through Jacob's trouble is when they're gonna be forcibly putting the charagma on you. Okay, they're gonna forcibly put the charagma on you sooner or later. And I believe with the 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, where it goes into feeding them unto idols, things offered unto idols. All right, that's gonna be in a time of Jacob's trouble. All right, but see, as the scripture says, we know the season, but the rest of the people, this world, beginning with the Israelites, they're going to get caught up out here, man. Verse 4, but ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. Yeah, because we're going to be watching. And through us watching, through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem El Shai, and warning, don't forget that. Warning and watching. Okay? The 2 W's. We're warning and watching. Okay? Through us warning and watching, the Lord is going to grant us favor in the end. Okay? He's going to grant us favor. He's going to grant us protection. We're going to have that hedge. I may sound like a broken record, but I always speak about the land of Goshen. All right? Now, remember, the Israelites was in Egypt. They were still in Egypt, too, when the plagues was happening to Egypt, but they were secluded away from it, which was the land of Goshen. And that was the land that they received through Joseph. Okay? How the Israelites got into Egypt, it was by the way of Joseph, which was Ephraim. Okay? And him being what? The top in Egypt, they got that land that no one wanted, and they put him in the land of Goshen. Okay? So when now, speed it up and see, that's how the Lord is bad, man. The Lord gonna protect you. All right? Now, years later, hundreds of years later, I don't know, hundreds of years later, I'm sorry. They was in, not hundreds of years later. Goodness, I can't remember exactly how long they was in, damn. I want to say 400 years. I want to say 400 years. I know it's Acts 7 and 6, and then it's, I think, Genesis 17, if I'm not mistaken. But so, a couple of hundreds of years in the future, when the plagues of Egypt happened, all right, they were secluded. They was protected. So just like now today, when the plagues of Egypt happened to Babylon the Great, which is America, that remnant is going to be protected, okay? That hedge. Wisdom and knowledge, Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of our times. Okay, let me hurry up. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the time. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of the darkness. The darkness is a confused state. He that leadeth in, not that, I say he leads in captivity. Yeah, they going into slavery. But he that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. So that dark is a representation of the dead, okay, which is the 2/3. And we are the light, just as Yahushua was that light. John, the 1st chapter, John, the 3rd chapter. All right? Yahushua was that light, and we're coming in the stead of Yahushua. So we're that light, okay, meaning aware. We're woken. We've been enlightened, illuminated. Okay, that's that light. Ye are the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of the darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. And that's the point, watching and being sober. So we're gonna know what's gonna take place, and where the world is finna get caught up out here, man. And we've been telling you, we've been prophesying it, we've been speaking it. All right, beginning with the Apostles' Great Millstone, and we're coming to that time. We're coming to the season of the Lord. Great danger and destruction. The season of the Lord, man. All right, so with that, all praise to Yahweh Shem El Shai, B'Shem Kakadosh Baruch